Welcome to the Spirit Podcast, where we talk about spirit, mind, and body. And today's topic is about personality and identity. I'm Liam Riley.
I'm Corey Raftery.
I'm Jamie Palumbo.
I'm Owen Wilson.
And I'm River Mitchell.
Let's just talk about the identity in college of college students. And for that, a well-established occupational identity allows the individual to make easy, rational, and mature career decisions. Yeah. So in terms of that, I think
that going through college and like choosing your major and taking classes and kind of figuring that out, I think that's really a big part in sort of helping you find your occupational identity in that aspect. Like I know for me in COSJ, like working in that field, like practicing like writing and being with TV and stuff, I've found that it's something that I really enjoy, and I've learned new things about myself of what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy, that I'm hoping to take that into my future career. So that's a huge part of finding your identity in college, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. What do you want to do with the world? How do you want to change the world?
It's a real transition from childhood to adulthood.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
the real.
Yeah.
Kind of helps you realize who you are and what you want to do with your life.
So how long does it take you to find your own identity?
So basically we thought there's no exact time for people to find their identity. It can take their whole life. It can take maybe a couple years or something from the day they're born. They never change. Some people change their identities a lot through life, and some people just never find their true identity. They go their whole life looking for it, but they never find who they truly are.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that, there's many different identities, and people can just change at any point in time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Regardless of who they are. They could just change like that if they think that that's not what their identity is or who they are as a true person to themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's a huge part of growing up. I know for me, like over the years since I was born to where I am now, I've changed quite a bit. I also think that's a huge thing about college as well, is that part of it is change and finding kind of what you're, again, sort of talking about your true identity. Again, there's no specific time period. Like some people might not figure it out until their 40s or 50s or whatever, and some people might figure it out when they're 5. But I think that college can definitely help speed up the process on that, for sure.
I also wanted to add to that, after reading the Mary Jacobs book, the fact that she had to go through life dealing with many different identity and personality changes, and also the fact that she had to deal with many different stereotypes and people kind of putting her down. She kind of had to go through that, face adversity, and try to find that person that she truly was going to be.
You can also see how her identity was shaped throughout her life. When she started out, she was just what she wanted her parents for her to be. Her parents decided who she was, what she was going to do, what she was going to be in life. And as she broke away from them, moved around, moved away from them, met other people, you can see how her identity changes.
Absolutely.
With the people she meets, with her husband, changes her identity a lot. Her child changes who she is as a person a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had another question. Why is it so hard to accept the truth? And sometimes it can be hard to accept the truth because you already have accepted a lie as your truth. Many people are scared of change, and accepting the truth usually leads to a change, which can be a big or small depending on the lie that they believed before. Basically, to sum that up, it's very hard for somebody to accept the truth because they want the sugar-coated lie because it makes them feel good, but in order to feel truly happy, you have to accept the truth more so than anything. And I think that's a big part of college. Like some college students don't want to accept that they are adults, and they sugarcoat everything and act as a kid and do stupid things that was okay 5 years ago to now. Nobody likes change. Some people handle it differently. Mm-hmm. And I think change could lead to finding your own true identity, because finding your own true identity, you have to accept truths about yourself that you never really wanted to accept.
Yeah, and then that's that's just a hard thing to do, to be able to accept the truth sometimes, because you kind of mentioned this, you're gonna want to tell yourself like what you want to believe,
right?
Which that's not really how it works. I mean, sure, I guess you could do it for like a little bit, but like at some point you really gotta sort of come into reality and be like, okay, like this is the truth, like this is the situation, this is kind of what's going on. You just kind of gotta accept that. I think college definitely helps with that.
Yeah.
Sure. And you shouldn't lie to yourself. You should definitely try to find that truth behind the thing that you're trying to look for.
The final question is personality influenced by inside or outside factors? I guess it could be like a little bit of both. People debate whether someone's personality is shaped by inside or outside factors. So, for example, like inside factors include where you're from, genetics, heritage, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's never, ever going to change. Outside factors are environment, past experiences, kind of how you grew up, culture, which I think that probably, I'm not going to say that inside factors have zero impact, but I think your outside factors really are very crucial in how it shapes you as a person.
I'd have to agree with you and disagree with you on that. Inside factors, I think, play a small but very important role in who you are, because that's who you're going to be for the rest of your life. There's no changing that. If you're born with anger issues or with depression or something like that, that's going to be a huge part of your personality for your entire life, and there's nothing you can do to change it. You can adapt to it, you can control it better, but you're never going to truly get rid of that or change that.
Yeah.
But also outside factors are a huge thing, but they're a lot easier to change, a lot easier to adapt to, a lot easier to maybe ignore if you want to, even if you shouldn't be ignoring them, but they have a bigger impact, but I'd say it's less detrimental or less impactful on your entire life. Like, they're going to change. Things are going to change. They're not always going to stay the same outside.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes another door closes, another opens. I strongly believe in that. Like, even though things may be tough for somebody right now, that doesn't mean that they're going to, suffer their whole lives. It's sort of like, for example, you might lose friends, but then you might meet more friends. Like, that door shuts and another one opens. I strongly believe in that, on that statement, because you can't always see the negative in everything, because then you're just going to be miserable for the rest of your life. It doesn't work out. You always see the negative.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of a saying I heard that says, like, good things fall apart so better things can fall together.
Right.
It's kind of almost exactly the same thing as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I know from personal experience, for when it comes to, like, what you said about the anger issues and stuff, obviously for me, I used to have bad anger issues, but then, as you said, you can't really let those go away. Those don't really go away at all. In terms for me, I just kind of look at it better and bigger picture in terms of just being more outgoing, more happy with my life, and just enjoy everything. Enjoy all the good things, even the bad things, even funny. Something bad could happen, could have been funny, because you could have broken a leg, but you also did something stupid.
You look back on it in 10
Right.
years.
Back on it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, like, it's just sort of like another thing that I always got taught is you get what you give. So if you give negative energy, you're gonna get it right back.
Yeah.
It may not be in the same day, but it'll probably be somewhat in your life. So when you're positive and you're happy, the people around you, that energy that you have brings that off of you to other people. So if you're at peace and you're happy and you're just genuinely just having a good time, then the people around you will have a good time. So
I also think if you put yourself around people who are similar to you, they obviously could have their own different types of personalities, but if you surround yourself with people just like you who are gonna interact with you the best way possible, right. I think you could I think you'll have that would benefit you the best. And that kind of ties back into finding your identity in a way. You're going to find that your identity through maybe people, for example. You could find a very good group of people that you're really close with, and and they all are very similar to you, and you can find that. And I know that from experience. I put myself around people who I'm going to relate to, who I think are going to be a very good fit for me. That kind of ties back to family as well. My family is a very close bonded family.
Yeah.
We all love to be around each other. And they, I kind of feed off their energy. For example, my papa is a great example. He's always, like, he could be in a bad mood. He could have a bad day, and he gets mad at you, but afterwards he still cares about you. He still tries to joke around. And his jokes are hilarious. So that's why I'm always just happy being around just anybody who makes me laugh or is just all around a good person. I mean.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.